Can you
absolute
Can you just confirm that you are accusing?
Yes, I am accusing. Yes.
Okay, say it.
You guys blocked me from getting out.
Say it.
You know, because
Matchroom.
Who else
Okay.
would have been?
Go on, say it.
Why was
Say it.
I in an ambulance?
Say that Matchroom stopped you from going to the hospital.
Why was I what? So you can try and sue me with your little lawyer.
But the nonsense about ambulances and all this, you know, it's just a no-brainer for, you know, that's just the most ridiculous and stupid thing I've heard. And actually, it's not good for boxing what he's been. So he's basically saying the border control crooked. That's what he said. You know, that's the interpretation of it. And what they do with monies and everything. I mean, it's just outrageous.
Come on.
The boxing world has been set on fire once again, and this time the storm surrounds Chris Eubank Jr. In a shocking development, veteran promoter Frank Warren has stepped into the chaos and delivered his harshest attack yet on the middleweight star. Warren branded Eubank Jr. a crybaby and a liar, while urging Eddie Hearn to take legal action against him. These strong words came in response to Eubank Jr.'s explosive accusations against Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn, claims that shook the boxing community and sparked outrage from multiple directions.
You know, honestly, I mean, anybody with half a brain would know that. But yeah, it is what it is. It's got, you know, I've got to tell you that I sit here as an old geezer listening to some of these people and some of the things that are said, and it just astounds me. What he said about Robert Smith is seriously libelous,
Only a few days earlier, the drama reached boiling point when Chris Eubank Jr. went on a furious rant aimed at Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn during a press conference. According to him, there had been an attempt on his life. He claimed that during a past incident, Hearn and Benn were involved in preventing his ambulance from reaching the hospital. In his view, this was nothing less than attempted murder. His words stunned the audience, fueling a heated back and forth that has kept the boxing world buzzing ever since.
I was actually so dehydrated that one of the toenails on my big toe fell off. It actually fell off. It's grown back about halfway now, but anyway. I'm in this ambulance. I'm in the ambulance, and
Still got it.
these scumbags blocked that ambulance from leaving the stadium for 20 minutes.
By the way, this is an interesting. I'll keep going because this is all being noted.
20 minutes.
Absolute waffle.
20 minutes.
Waffle.
Locked in.
Waffle.
I'm laying there in a gurney, oxygen mask on, and the car cannot move. They will not open the gates to let us leave.
The rivalry between the Benn and Eubank families is nothing new. It has lasted decades, with both sides sharing a bitter history that continues to spill into the present. But this time, Chris Eubank Jr.'s words seem to have crossed a line, dragging not just his rival, but also promoters and officials into the fire.
It's important.
That 20 minutes
You can't answer that, can you?
could have been the difference between life and death.
You talk.
And while this was all happening, Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn are in here talking to the media, lying about how I had a broken jaw and that was the reason why I was going to hospital. Artists of the highest degree.
Chris, can we get one thing clear? Can you just confirm that you are accusing?
Yes, I am
Matchroom?
Yes.
Okay, say it.
You guys blocked me from getting out.
Say it.
You know, because
Matchroom.
Who else would have been?
Go on, say it.
Why was I in an ambulance?
Say that
Frank Warren, who has witnessed countless disputes in the sport, finally broke his silence. Speaking in his latest interview, he dismissed Eubank Jr.'s accusations as outright lies. Warren was direct and ruthless, calling the fighter not only dishonest, but also foolish for pointing fingers at respected figures within boxing. In his view, these are not the kind of claims that can be swept aside. They demand consequences.
And he's carrying on and doing it again, so that's down to him. But the nonsense about ambulances and all this, you know, it's just a no-brainer for, you know, that's just the most ridiculous and stupid thing I've heard.
So just to clarify, are you saying the club, as in Tottenham, the premises have jurisdiction over the ambulances?
Yeah, because they have the. He said he locked the doors, didn't he, or something? Locked the keys.
Essentially, yeah.
Well, what are they giving Eddie the keys to the doors of Tottenham? I mean, do me a favour. This is fucking stupid, beyond stupid. It's just ridiculous. What is he, lying on the floor in front of the ambulance, or stand in front, stopping it?
Warren didn't stop there. He slammed Eubank Jr.'s promoter, Ben Shalom, pointing out that nobody forces a fighter to sign a contract. If Eubank Jr. had grievances, he argued, he should have addressed them earlier rather than dragging them into the public spotlight.
And what I don't understand with him, they keep bleating. I mean, Shalom's as bad when he says he was forced to sign a contract at the last minute regarding this weight clause. No one forces anyone to sign a contract. That's your choice. You know, you either can make the weight or you can't make the weight. It's as simple as that. If you can't make the weight, don't sign it. If you're in hospital for 2 nights and losing toenails or whatever it is, well, you knew what you was going into. No one forced you to do this. This was your choice.
Warren went as far as to demand legal action be taken against him. He insisted that once such a lawsuit is filed, Eubank Jr. would be left with nothing, predicting that he would crumble badly in court. To Warren, these reckless claims threaten not just individuals, but the integrity of the sport itself.
Chris Eubank Jr. needs to settle with him as soon as possible, because he ain't going to win that, that's for sure. It's just stupid. I don't know what, I don't understand what why he would even say that, what he said. It's just ridiculous. Let me just tell you, when we book a venue, all of us promoters, whoever you are, you book a venue, certainly something like Spurs, a usual venue. What the promoter is responsible is the same as like when you have a band on there or any other event. We're responsible for what we call backstage security. So for us, that's anything in a dress room or area, or anything immediately inside that ring area. Everything else outside is the responsibility of the venue. So to say that...
But the controversy didn't stop with Warren's words. Chris Eubank Jr. himself continued to escalate matters by firing more accusations, this time targeting the British Boxing Board of Control. He argued that the strange incidents surrounding his past fight were not accidental but pre-planned, pointing the finger at a board member. By doing so, he dragged another powerful institution into the spotlight, further complicating his already heated rivalry with Conor Benn.
My legal team love me. In all seriousness, I am going to be the one that is suing them for negligence, for incompetence. I was in the back of that ambulance for 20 minutes, blocked in, unable to leave, unable to get through the gates that they were refusing to open. That is unacceptable. It's egregious. It's disgusting. Someone has to pay for that. Someone has to answer for that. And Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, the British Boxing Board of Control, they are the people controlling the night. They are in charge. So if anyone's incompetence underneath them was the effect of me having to be in that ambulance for an extra 20 minutes, it still falls upon them. It's still their responsibility.
While Eubank Jr. thrives on confrontation and controversy, not everyone dismissed his words outright. Former fighter Paul Smith gave his perspective, striking a balance between disbelief and acknowledgement. He completely dismissed Eubank Jr.'s claims about his ambulance being blocked, calling them nonsense. Yet, when it came to his attacks on the British Boxing Board of Control, Smith admitted there might be some truth. He pointed out that the massive fines handed to fighters raise questions, particularly when there is no clear transparency on how that money is used. For him, Eubank Jr.'s frustration with the board's practices had at least some validity, even if the murder accusations did not.
He's ruined what are very valid points, Eubank, by criticising anyone trying to keep him with the ambulance. That's absolutely nonsense. But he has got very valid points when he speaks about the Boxing Board of Control, about where the money goes from the fines, about where the money goes in general.
Right.
I've never seen an ex-boxer being helped, and that's what they say, it goes towards ex-boxers. I would like to see a lot more transparency from the Boxing Board of Control, and whatever he said, he's going to get in trouble for it, because the boards have got KCs on as the stewards. They've got the best legal advice in the country to hand for them, and they will.
But the idea, I understand what you're saying. I know
you ruined a few good points with a lot of bad stuff.
I mean, the idea that Eddie and anybody was responsible for suppressing an ambulance getting out.
Eddie Hearn, who was directly accused of the shocking plot, did not take the allegations lightly. He strongly confronted Eubank Jr.'s claims and made it clear that legal action was on the table. According to reports, Hearn is now preparing to sue him, a move that gains even more weight with Frank Warren's backing. If both promoters stand united, Eubank Jr. could find himself cornered not only in the ring, but also in the courtroom.
But you can't say things like that. You know, and it's not even about, no, I'm speaking my truth. It's lies. That's the difference. I don't care. If I really went up to a paramedic, right, and the British Boxing Board of Control and went, mate, I know you've got to take him to hospital, but hang on 20 minutes so they're late. For fuck's sake. I mean, unless you've got no brain, you might be listening to that going, I can't believe Eddie Hearn's done that. And that's why I gave him the opportunity to say it again. Because I couldn't believe what I was actually hearing. And he says, oh, what are you going to do? Sue me? Yeah, absolutely. Because you ain't accusing me and my company of things like that. Because I haven't worked, and my dad hasn't worked his whole life with a reputation in the sport.
For Conor Benn, however, this chaos has added even more fuel to an already raging fire. The long-standing rivalry between him and Eubank Jr. was already set for a rematch, but this war of words has taken it to another level. Benn, determined to avenge his previous loss, has gone all in with his training. Inside the gym, he is unleashing furious power on the pads, driven by hunger and revenge. Every punch he throws is a statement.
Come on.
Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. has shown little sign of worry. In typical fashion, he has brushed off the threats and lawsuits with his trademark confidence, almost to the point of carelessness. He was recently seen at home, shirtless, casually singing a song directed at Conor Benn. For Eubank Jr., this kind of trolling is nothing new. Whether it's mind games or pure entertainment, he seems to thrive on stirring emotions. To his critics, this behavior proves he is not taking the legal threat seriously. To his supporters, it's just another example of his ability to stay unfazed under pressure. All of this chaos has sparked heated debates across the boxing world. Some argue that Eubank Jr.'s claims are nothing more than an attention grab, a way to keep his name in the headlines ahead of the rematch. Others believe that regardless of whether his accusations are true or false, they are damaging to the sport and must be dealt with firmly. The calls for legal action from both Warren and Hearn have divided opinions even further. Should fighters be allowed to speak freely, even recklessly, or should the line be drawn when accusations threaten reputations and institutions?
I mean, what do you make of that?
It's garbage.
That's
there's no way anybody stops an ambulance, and that would be down to the venue anyway. It's the venue who controls what happens outside the ring area. You know, the promoter's responsible for what we call the backstage area and the actual ring itself. All other aspects of security lies with the stadium that you book. So it's just a nonsense. And, you know, the stuff he said with Robert Smith, I mean, you know, I wouldn't put up with that, but that's up to them what they do.
Indeed.
And Frank, I think we should finish on what perceivably could be described as a battle of the promoters. October 25, you get Wardley Parker and Ben Shalom as Clark up against Jamie TKV on free-to-air.
Predictions for the upcoming rematch are also pouring in. Many analysts feel that with all the outside drama, Ben may be the hungrier fighter walking into the ring. His camp shows discipline, focus, and a burning desire to silence Eubank Jr. once and for all. On the other hand, Eubank Jr.'s relaxed approach makes him unpredictable. His ability to play mind games and remain unfazed by pressure has worked for him in the past. Some believe that his carefree attitude hides his true preparation, and come fight night, he may shock everyone with his performance.
And Chris openly says, and you lost, you do know that you lost, and I don't understand like the victory tour. The kid's just had a night of his life in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, being paid the biggest payday of his life. You can expect him to enjoy himself a little bit, but you would be more subdued if you lost the first fight, and you would be the quieter fighter. And I think this will suit Conor Benn to help him in his preparations, because he's the underdog, he's the smaller man, let's say, and he lost the first fight, so he has a lot to prove in his fight, but he's relatively younger and less miles on the clock than Chris Eubank.
I mean, I'm not surprised Chris said that about Victory Tour, because it's another way to get a dig in, and I think it's a clever dig.
Others, however, see this as a dangerous distraction for Eubank Jr. They argue that instead of focusing on training, he is caught up in legal battles, press conference outbursts, and public trolling. Against a hungry and motivated Conor Benn, that lack of focus could cost him dearly.
I don't know. I think Ben can do more, and he's going to learn from it. The first one. So, and Eubank looked drained at that weight. I'm surprised he's gone in again for the same weight, same rules, because you could see he looked like he was struggling to get to that weight, and it showed in there at times. So I think it's a 50-50. Ben's in with a better chance this time than the first time.
Ben said he's going to box more in the second fight. Is that the game plan you would deploy, or?
Yeah, you've got to box. Look, it's called boxing for a reason. You've got to box. When you're looking for big shots and take somebody's head off, somebody will pick you apart. This is skill set in there. At this level, you got to box your way in.
What's certain is that this fight is no longer just about two men in the ring. It has become a saga of words, lawsuits, and legacy. With Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn both standing against him, Chris Eubank Jr. faces challenges outside the ropes that may weigh just as heavily as those inside them. The boxing world now waits to see if his words will come back to haunt him, or if he can turn all this controversy into fuel for victory.
If we were giving him advice, if you were giving him advice, Don, would you say to him,
it's not,
go rematch, go and fight at 147 and win a world title?
That type of fight is not recommended for anybody, yeah? The type of fight he had with Chris Eubank Jr. But nevertheless, by public demand, I would advise him, don't take that type of rematch. It's not good for your health.
For Conor and Chris. Listen, by public demand, the public want it.
The public do want it.
And financially rewarding.
And the common denominator here is the money. Where else are they going to fight, and what fight are they going to have to generate the type of income that they'll get for that fight? And that's really what.
And you must respect that Conor would have elevated as a fighter from that performance. Chris, that would have taken a lot out of him. So, if the money's on the table...
One thing is undeniable. The rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn has reached a level of intensity few could have predicted. Between accusations of murder plots, threats of lawsuits, and non-stop verbal warfare, this rivalry has captured attention like never before. And when the bell finally rings, the world will find out whether all the noise outside the ring will matter, or if the punches will speak louder than words. So that is all for today. This rivalry just got even hotter, and now it is your turn. Do you think Frank Warren is right to demand legal action? Comment your thoughts now. Who wins the rematch? Drop your predictions below. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next big boxing update.